Hi there, my name's Brent Vanderswag. I'm the president of GutterExperts.com and founder of GutterCon, which was held for the very first time in Denver, Colorado this past April. Happy to announce that GutterCon 2023 will be held in Orlando, Florida on February 10th to 12th at the Gaylord Palms Resort and Convention Center. So we hope to see you there. I love to chat with people in the gutter industry, suppliers, inventors, manufacturers, and gutter guys and gals just like you and me. I enjoy finding out how they got into the business, where they came from, and what their businesses are doing in the gutter industry today. So please welcome my guest today, Chris Tomasetti of Northeast Pennsylvania Waterproofing in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Chris has been in business for 8 years, but just started in the gutter business 4 years ago. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me.
Well, we finally, we were just chatting before we got on here about our scheduling. It took us a couple weeks to get here, and a couple missed appointments, but we're finally here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
So, Chris, you and I met at GutterCon in Denver, and you're young and enthusiastic about the gutter business. So, how old are you? And tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Sure. So I'm 27 years old. I've been in the roofing industry since I was 12. So I was up there ripping off shingles, doing what I have to do up on the roof. And as you know, roofing and gutters go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So as
Just
far as,
working for someone else, though?
yes, I was working for other contractors in the area, working for my father at the time.
Hmm.
Uh, and that's how I started getting into the industry. As we got towards, like 18 years old, I started branching off on my own, and we ended up into waterproofing because a lot of the issues in our area were with crawl spaces and basements.
Hmm.
And hindsight, just none of the houses had proper gutter systems.
Yeah.
And then that's what led into gutters. And now we just
Okay.
made the problematic areas before treating, the cancer.
Yeah. So would you say your business is mostly roofing or mostly gutters or mostly waterproofing?
So we kind of got away from waterproofing. It's now
Yeah.
just the name. So it's like basically here's the name. We're just doing roofing and gutters. As far as percentages, though, we're 80% gutters and 20% roofs.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the like how big of an area do you guys cover? Like I'm not really I know the state of Pennsylvania, but like how far would you travel in your with your
So
business?
we would travel about an hour and 15 minutes anyway. So that leaves it just about a 25-mile radius from where we are.
Hmm.
And that's a good radius for us because there's a lot of mountains, a lot of back roads.
Yeah, I
Uh,
bet. I've been through there before. It's beautiful country.
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So do you have a bad rainy season there? I would think with the mountains.
September gets pretty rough. We get some good rain. We won't count out any of the other months. Northeast Pennsylvania, we will see all four seasons in one day. It is crazy weather. So,
Well, you're on the
we,
East Coast, so I totally get that. We're the same way. The other day we were out with no shirts out on the back patio drinking beer, and the next day we had our winter jackets on, and today it's raining. So it's kind of crazy. October, what's today? October 7th. So, October is usually very nice for us too. Like we can have some nice days here. So we were chatting just a little bit before we got on the call. You struggle with the same things it sounds like everyone else does. Big thing being labor, right?
yes,
Yeah.
big thing is labor. We're having a tough time getting people to want to stay in the industry,
Hmm.
and just want to learn about the industry. And that's making it harder for us in selling the jobs because we don't know our bottom number. You
Yeah.
know, we want to get people on board, get consistent, and then be able to give out a fair market price for our
Yeah.
work.
So have you found that um, have you found that you had more employees before, or have you just always struggled like that?
No, we have our good runs. Like over the summer, for instance, we had 9 employees. We blew up over the summer, had a great season, and then right towards the end, A lot of people went back to college.
Mhm.
Some people just quit. They said, "Hey, it's not for me." Uh, but then years passed. It's just been a crew of three, and I'm an owner operator.
Yeah.
So I'm on all my job sites.
Yeah. And so is your plan to kind of stay like that then?
I
Owner
want to.
operator, or are you hoping to get off the truck?
So this season I was off the truck and everything went well. Um, I would like to get back to that again. I want two crews, 6 employees. That seems like a reasonable size for my area. And then
Mhm.
if advancement ever comes down the road, we'll take it from there.
Mhm.
But
Will you always do the roofing, or do you think you'll phase out of that?
roofing is just a great industry to be in, to tell you the truth. I mean, profit
Yeah.
margins are well. Uh, just being able to tell somebody, hey, you're covered for the next 30 years to 50 years,
Yeah.
great feeling. Because in my area specifically, there's not so many good contractors. There's quite a bit of the bad. I'm
Mhm.
sure in any other industry too.
Yeah. Are you, so does the same crew do the roofing too, or do you have a separate roofing crew?
We have separate roofing crews.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
But you said that most of your, probably 80% of your business is gutter.
correct.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, the other 20% comes from going to a gutter job and saying, you're going to spend all this money in your gutters,
Mhm.
but your roof is literally on its last leg. Do you
Yeah.
mind if I give you a quote? And we usually just, that's where 20% of the roofs come from. Is
Mhm.
just selling it right on the gutter job.
Yeah, we often get asked if we do roofing, but we don't have enough people to do the gutters, let alone get into roofing. You know, we could get into siding too, but we just try not to get into that.
Hmm.
So you came to GutterCon. How'd you hear about GutterCon?
So I was not gonna lie, before you even came up with the idea, I was thinking of the same thing.
There's a
And
lot of people that were.
so I was just talking to my lead foreman at the time, and I said, I wonder if there's any place that all these individuals can come together. I said, let me just type this in the computer. We looked around and we said, GutterCon. Wow, in Denver. That's awesome. So we signed up. We wanted to come and see what it was
Yeah.
all about. And we
There was
weren't
four of you
disappointed.
that came, wasn't it?
Correct. Yes. I had a project manager that was just coming on board, our lead technician that came out there with us to help make some connections.
Yeah.
And at the time, you guys were really mainstreaming marketing and SEO, online presence,
Hmm.
and I was just getting into it. So I flew my marketing agent out there, and he started networking
Okay.
too.
Oh, good. So did he, what did he come out of GutterCon with? Like, I mean, what have you been doing since April,
Well,
if
we've been
anything?
marketing tremendously well,
Yeah.
just focusing on service based. So, are your gutters full? Let's get them cleaned out. Let's install
Yeah.
a guard. So that's been really good. So
Yeah.
honestly, I let him handle that department. So I
Hmm.
might not be very knowledgeable as to what he took out of it because he
Hmm.
speaks a whole nother language.
Hmm.
You and I, we could talk about gutters, but to
Yeah,
Joe's
I know.
homeowner, they
It is a
can't.
whole different world. Yeah.
Correct.
So do you have someone full time doing that, or he's someone that works with you?
He's his own company
Oh,
and
okay.
he handles all of that.
Right. So he works for other people too.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. And have you noticed a big difference in the SEO work that you've been doing?
Since we started SEO in the beginning of the year, we have definitely got a lot more clients out of our initial area. So our initial area is within 5 miles of home base,
Hmm.
and we have probably 9 communities there.
Hmm.
We, without having the numbers right in front of me, we probably did 50% more clients in the
Hmm.
surrounding areas from 10 to
Hmm.
15 miles away from home base.
Okay.
And that's all through SEO and the online marketing. So
Yeah.
definitely good.
And if what kind of money do you spend doing that? I mean, I don't do any SEO right now. Um, we don't do any marketing right now because we're busy, and we're lucky enough that we're busy enough. And I'm worried that if we don't do marketing, there's going to be a day that I have to do it, and I'm going to be way behind the eight ball. So, what kind of money do you spend on a monthly basis?
So last year's budget, and we weren't as busy as we would have liked to been. Last year's budget was about 50,000 overall, and
Wow.
this year's budget, I'm probably going to double it for online presence, for getting out there. Is I want to be targeting the top 10% of income earners in my area. That's who I want to be at. I want to be at a high tiered level, and that's
Mhm.
all I want specifically
Wow.
is high quality work.
So if you're spending 100 grand on that, I mean, what kind of numbers do you hope to do in revenue?
Um, I could say last year wasn't the year I was hoping for, and we probably still pushed 600, $700,000, gross for the year, and it wasn't bad. This year we're probably on mark for just over a mil, and if I spend about 100,000 into it, I'm hoping to get to 1.5. That would
Okay.
be our target for 2023 to
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah. And would that include gutter and roofs or just
That
gutter?
would that would be both of them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Because I was going to
do
say you're not going to do the 1.5 million in gutters with one or two trucks.
Well, you'd be surprised.
I have guys tell me that, and I'm like, wow, I can't imagine. But anyway,
Well, I also see a lot of people at $6 to $8 a linear foot,
yeah,
and those are the people saying that they'll never get there. That's why they
yeah,
need multiple trucks. We're
yeah,
at double the rate,
yeah.
and we do half the quantity, and we're still making the same amount of money. So it's just all about how you value yourself.
Yeah, I know, and that's one thing that we all, everyone that spoke at GutterCon, everyone was saying, raise your prices, and you hear it about it in all the Facebook groups too. So, do less work for more money is kind of the key.
Mhm.
Um, I was going to ask you, just slipped my mind, what I was going to ask you. Wow, I never do this. Forget what I was going to ask. Um, the the so when you left GutterCon, what other sort of ideas did you have other than doing a little bit of SEO or focusing on SEO?
So the other ideas that I had when leaving there was I was always in a mindset of I wanted to invent something. So
Yeah.
right now we have a new product for gutters that are hopefully going to hit the market in the next year.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Are you going to tell us about it?
oh, and I can't.
You
It's
can't.
it's patent pending right now.
Oh
Um,
really?
yeah, the prototype is in design, and hopefully by next year we'll be able to do another interview and I'll be able to demonstrate it and then bring it to the next Gutter-Con.
So
But
you don't think you'll be ready for GutterCon in February?
I think it might be pushing it, but if I'm able to slide it in there, we'll be talking about getting a booth for it just
Oh
to
nice.
show it off.
Sounds good. Well, I'm anxious to hear about it.
Oh yeah, so that was one of the big things that I took away from the last Gutter-Con. Uh,
So, what do you mean? You came up with an idea when you were there and now you're working on it? Or you
I
always had this idea?
I've always had this idea, and then meeting different people, hint hint, I've kind of, I would say, sounding board the
Hmm.
idea to these people, and
Hmm.
everybody had a very good receptiveness to it. And
Hmm.
now we're just making it into something real.
Wow. Okay, awesome.
So yeah,
Well,
so people listening out there, if you talk to me at all, start thinking about what ideas did I talk about while I was there.
shoot, I'm gonna have to start calling people because now you really got my interest tweaked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good. Well, that's pretty neat. I mean, you're young. Not that someone older can't do that, but I'm 51, and I often I talk to younger guys like yourself, and I think, oh, geez, if I was that age again, what would I do differently? So there's a ton of things that you can do, and I think the community now, like 20 years ago, you couldn't do this. Like,
No,
you know,
absolutely not.
no, you couldn't do what we're doing here. So it's just, I mean, you could have flown to a conference and met people, of course, but just keeping in touch with them. Like, I mean, there was no Facebook, there was phones, that was it, and a fax machine. Do you
Mhm.
even know what a fax machine is?
I've never worked one, but I do know what a fax machine is.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool. You never worked one. Believe it or not, a lot of people still use them, like in the medical industry. I can't believe it, but
That's
people still
crazy.
use fax machines. Anyway, so listen, what are you working on now? Like it's October 7th. I assume that you're thinking just like me, winter's coming. You work all year round, I assume, pick and choose your days in the winter.
So this winter specifically, we are going to take the winter completely off. Um,
Wow,
yeah, just
that's
taking the entire
fancy.
thing off. So
Where are
as
you
soon
going?
I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying at home. I'm getting, my sleeves rolled up, and we're gonna get to work in the office. That would be like my bottleneck
Mhm.
is office work. So we have to get all our automated systems in place. We need to get benefits in place, employee packages in place, and then that's how I think we're going to retain good workers.
Yeah.
For the winter, I need to work on the backlog of our gutter business. I'm not going
Mhm.
to say I'm perfect. I'm definitely not. We have a lot of work to do.
Well, I
Just
wasn't really going to bring this up today, but I might as well bring it up now because I've already put an email out and you've already basically said you're all in for it. But we have a new product through Gutter Experts that we're going to be pushing called Gutter Academy and Gutter Academy Pro Mastermind Group. So I've been involved with a group before, not in the gutter business. It was actually a group that was put together by our software, our service, or field service software. And
mhm.
they had a group, all guys and gals, but mostly guys in the landscaping business. So it was a really, really good group. We would get together a couple times a month. We would talk about certain things to do. It was really around running a home service business, but it was really catered to the landscaping group. But we would meet a couple times a month on. I wonder if it was even a video call. It wasn't a video call. I think it was. I guess we logged in and it was more of a webinar. So someone was speaking and we could just all watch them. We weren't on we didn't show our face. So we would just really kind of listen to the speaker and there was a little bit of homework and so on. But it was a real good camaraderie, so to speak, amongst the group. And it wasn't like a Facebook group where you're just always chatting and, you know, coming down on someone's hand cut miters or strip miters. By the way, what do you use? Strip miters, box miters, hand cut.
We use box miters for our inside and outsides, and for our bay miters, we use the strip miters.
Yeah.
That was actually one of my things. I wrote down an entire list of things that we could talk about if we became blank in the
Right.
mind for some reason. Um, Hopefully, I always want to expand my knowledge base. So
Yeah.
if there's ever a tutorial that somebody wanted to host on, hey, this is our step-by-step guide to do hand cut miters, I'd be more than happy to, of course, everything doesn't come at a free cost. It comes with a cost.
Yeah.
I'd spend a couple dollars to get that tutorial.
Yeah.
Not-
That's a really good point. I'll throw it out there. If someone feels that they can do that here on a Gutter Conversation podcast interview, that would be kind of neat, I think.
I think
I'll
so.
have to. I think I'll have to look to see who's out there in the industry that would do that. So just to get back to the mastermind group, it's
Yeah.
something we're going to get started, and we've got a few guys already signed up. And it's not really going to be about me teaching guys what to do. It's going to be really about the group together and sharing ideas. You're not going to have someone. There's not going to be a guy in the group that's next door to you, your competitor. You're going to be dealing with other guys all over the country, and they do things maybe a little bit differently than you do. Maybe you can teach them something. So we're really excited about the group and getting it going. So we've got a meeting, actually a Zoom meeting on October 26th that we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So
So will I
so
get a link to that, or you're gonna
yeah,
do it?
I'll get
Public?
a link to you, yeah, for sure. So what's on your list? What else? Not that we ran out of things to talk about, but I'm putting you on the spot now. Oh, geez, you got a big list.
I come prepared.
I see that.
All right. I think for what I wanted to see at GutterCon in the future
Yeah.
is more academy classes, training events.
Yeah, I
There's
agree.
no consistency across the market. And ultimately, I would love to see a group of individuals get together and for an example, how you have your international building standards across America and then it varies state to state. I would love to see maybe the United States in a whole broken up into some territories and individuals from this organization here start writing standards that could
Mm.
be in placement for the Northeast territory, maybe down South territory, Midwest territory, and then you get up, Alaska's its own thing. I don't think they use gutters there.
Oh, I think they do.
I'm
I,
only
I
messing
thought
around.
I think we had someone from Alaska at GutterCon, to be honest with you.
Really?
I think we did. Yeah. I'd have to look at the list, but I think we did. It's interesting that you bring that up. I mean, I've been in the business since 1998, and back in the day, I brought this up a couple times, and I've interviewed Tony Cobb a couple times. We did a gutter conversation just like this, and I did
Mhm.
a shop tour with him. I was in Michigan a few weeks ago, and I did a. Did you happen to see that one, the shop tour with Tony Cobb?
I watched it. I watched it very vaguely while I was driving. Try to listen to it more than watch
Yeah,
it. You're driving, you pay attention to the road.
yeah,
So I
that's right. Anyway, Tony has been in the business a long time, and he was very involved with a group, um, the National Rain Gutter Association or something. I can't really remember the exact word, the phrase, the what it was called, but it was something national, and they were trying to do something there. So it was they had a LinkedIn page, and there was comments there, and a lot of bickering back and forth once in a while. It was kind of fun to watch the comments, but he really tried to do that, and maybe we'll be at that point now that we're getting. Something like GutterCon brings people together, and maybe something will come out of it, like an association or something someday. But I think you're right. Like, there's other industries that you'd have to be certified. Um, I wouldn't say you have to be certified, but if you are certified, that might be something that a homeowner might say, oh well, they're certified in their industry, and we're going to go with this company.
Well, let's use this as a fine example because there's 1,000 different answers, and everybody thinks they're right. When you run a 40-foot gutter, how much of a slope or a pitch would you run on a 40-foot gutter? And are you adding one downspout? Are you adding two downspouts? 3-liter pipes? What's the standard across that area?
Hmm.
What's the square footage on the roof?
Hmm.
This needs to be something that's set in stone. So if you ever got taken to court for litigation purposes, you can say, "Hey, I have this handbook, and this is from across America. This
Hmm.
protects me at this linear foot, this square footage of the roof, the slope of the
Hmm.
roof." It's too much of a gray area, in my own opinion,
Yeah,
because you run into problems there. 40 feet, maybe 10 square roofing, 8-10 slope, 8 to 10 slope on the roof,
yeah,
and they're like, "Hey, it's too much water for this gutter. Where's the fine line?"
yeah. Yeah, it's certainly, I totally agree with you. It would be great to have something, but you're going to have someone. And, there's a cost, just like you said earlier, there's a cost of doing all this stuff. So great to talk about having something in place, but to put something in place that's going to stand up to the courts, for example, you're going to have all your I's dotted and T's crossed, right?
Well, I'm willing to do the work. I've been thinking about that for a while now. I've
Yeah,
been wanting to get something online, on the books.
yeah,
So, if anybody's seeing this and they would like to contact me, just reach out to the business. You can reach out to Brent for my contact information, and we can definitely sit down and start getting some like-minded people. This isn't going to be something that it just grows overnight, but it's
yeah.
going to be a couple years in the planning, and now's the time to start.
Well, you're good and young to be able to start something like that.
Oh yeah. Well, I just need to stay busy. That's
Yeah.
it. I love staying busy. Busier the better.
So I'm interested about you taking the winter off. I mean, I like to, my wife's from Brazil, so I like to go down to Brazil in the winter. Of course, it's summertime down there when it's winter up here. And, I get away for a few weeks in the winter and, that it's awesome. But, and I've often said, I'd love to just shut down at Christmas time and tell everyone, see you in April. But
That's
I,
what I'm doing.
I couldn't do it. How are you going to do it? Like, you're just going to
So
tell your customers, no, well, see you later.
really telling the customers no. It's just saying, we've hit a season that does not sustain us to be able to do gutters. We
Mm,
just refuse to put our workers on ladders in slippery conditions, exposed to the cold, harsh elements that they can get sick, they can get frostbite. To me, it's not worth my employees' health, and it's not worth the risk of getting anybody hurt.
mm,
So right now the employees I have are high schoolers who leave at 12. They come to
mm,
work in the afternoon, and I've already had the job set up. We're ready to go, and they help me install the gutters. And that's
mm,
just where we are in our smaller area of
mm,
Northeast PA. For the years coming, we want to get them set on a salary based with incentives, with benefits, and give them 8 weeks paid vacation. So at the end of December to the beginning of March, that would be guaranteed minimum paid vacation. You have the entire winter. You're still receiving a paycheck every week. And if the snow is still on the ground, well, guess what? Your paid vacation just got extended because it's not worth your health.
Send me
And
an application.
well, I am really, really trying to find the right employees because the business cannot grow without the right people in
Hey,
place.
and you know what? I'm sitting here thinking to myself, don't take this the wrong way. I'm thinking this kid is crazy. What's he talking about? 8 weeks paid vacation. But, maybe that's what we need to do.
Well, it's not
My
worth
guys
it.
don't even rarely take vacation now. They're just, I don't know, they just take their vacation pay on top of their regular pay, I guess. So,
I don't know. I've seen a lot of different industries that people do the same thing. And at the end of the day, is your happiness and the time with your family that you can
mm,
spend, is it worth the extra $1,000 for the week? Is it
mm,
worth staying at work and not spending time with your family?
mm,
Weigh your options. For me, I have a 2-year-old at home and I love him dearly. I want to spend the entire winter with him.
mm.
So,
Well, it sounds good. I hope you can make it work. I guess, the things that I would think about is, how are you going to, and it all comes down to having the right people, I guess. If you're giving someone 8 weeks paid vacation, I mean, obviously they put their time in the year before to be able to say, okay, I'm going to be here after the eight weeks of vacation. I'm coming back to work.
correct.
Um,
We would like to take them in the spring. Actually, the two high schoolers I have working now, I'm offering full-time positions to as soon as they graduate.
yeah.
So I'm hoping they come on board. If not, we're going to run a campaign for some new guys or
I
girls.
mean, we really never hire students for the reason we don't hire students is because they're going to school and we need them all day. But I guess the way you're doing it is that you're giving them work while they're in school so that they'll come to you after they're done school.
Correct. The whole idea about this is I want to show the younger generation that a college education isn't the only way that you can make a living and make a really good career choice. The
Mhm,
trades are a dying art. Whether you go in construction, plumbing, electric, sheet metal workers, as we are in the gutter industry, we're fabricators of the metal. This is also a very good career choice.
mhm,
And I want to show you that if you're going to do 4 to 6 years in college, you could be making the same amount of money as if you were to graduate with a degree, as if you were to
mhm.
put 6 years worth of time into a company, and now you're equally invested.
Well, let's face it, there's a lot of people with degrees out there that are doing the manual work because it's better money.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think that's just our education system that failed us from the start, is they
Mm.
pushed, institutions, universities onto us and told you that, the working class just wasn't a reliable income.
Yeah. Yeah. That certainly isn't the case these days. That's for sure.
No, it's not. Table
Yeah.
has turned.
It looks like God is speaking to us there.
Yeah, telling me to preach.
The sun is coming out.
Preach some more. Oh, is that
Yeah, I think
still?
that's even worse. There you go. That's better.
Hopefully I do not take this painting off the wall. I'm trying to pin up. There we go. Got it.
So, okay, well, look, it sounds like, I guess we should probably talk again in the spring and see what the heck, how the winter went for you, right?
Yeah, well, we got some other business ventures going on. So again, I'll be doing a lot of administration as I start my third business.
Oh, yeah? And are you going to tell us that or no?
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's a heavy equipment rental company. So I
Okay.
have a partner in that, and we're in a location that's about, I don't know, 25 miles away from the nearest machine rental. And we're
Okay.
surrounded by a good population.
So
that
like what,
requires
mini excavators and stuff like that?
aerial lifts, chippers, just
Cool.
machines
Cool.
in general.
Okay. And what you said you had, so this is your third, what's your other business?
Oh, well, you always have to think about your financial as a business. So your stock market.
Okay. Good. Well,
Millionaires have 7 sources of incomes, and every single thing that you do that can generate money counts as a business.
oh, good. Well, that's a good way to put it. I wish I thought a little bit more. I was thinking like that back when I was in my 20s, but I didn't have the discipline that it sounds like you have. So it's great that you're doing that.
Well, I've had a lot of good teachers and role models, especially just older generation people that come to you and say, listen, don't make the same mistakes I did. And, as just a young man, you got to say, okay, well, where is he at or she at in life, and what they have done different, and really just consider it. They're giving you free knowledge as to the do's and don'ts of life. Just take what they're doing and run with it. And that's the discipline that we got.
Yeah, cool. Well, listen, I think you're on the right track, Chris. I was really glad to meet you back at Gutter-Con in April, and can't wait to see you in February down in Florida. And I think a lot of the stuff that you're working on is pretty neat, and love the ideas that you have and you're bringing to the table. So appreciate you taking the time this morning and chatting with me. And I think what I'll do is I'll put a link to your website for contact info if anyone wants to reach out to you in the comments down below.
Sure, I get you my website then for sure.
Okay. Well, great. Thanks a lot.
Too.
What's that?
I'll see you in MetalCon.
Oh yeah, that's right. Next week we're going to see each other next week. That's right. Tony Cobb is going to be there also. So that's the fellow that I was just telling you about. So we can talk about this association and talk a little bit about the issues that he ran into. Great.
That's
okay.
Cool.
Well, look, we'll see you next week, and thanks again for doing this, Chris.
Very welcome. Thanks for having us.
Okay.
Bye now.